Welcome everybody to This Week in Location-Based Marketing with Rob Woodbridge and
Asif Khan.
So this is a watershed moment, Asif, because it is episode number 10. Two hands, double digits, man.
Double digits. There we go.
That 10.
We made it, and it's growing, and yeah, it's happy to be here, and looking forward to getting to 100.
Isn't that 100? That would not be bad. That's 2 years. But if you think about to form a habit, I think what they've talked about is kind of 6 weeks. So we're on week number 10, and so this has now become habitual. So hopefully, people who are watching this have also become habitual to getting this on Monday morning and getting all the latest news of what happened last week in the world of location-based marketing. That's what we do here.
Absolutely.
So,
all right, so let's jump right into it.
Yeah, obviously another a formidable week because not only because of what happened, but because of what's going to happen this week and announcements coming in the week that we're actually heading into. So we reported last week about Foursquare's numbers, and no sooner had we put out the podcast and with this kind of 200 millionth check-in. That Monday that our podcast went out, they actually released some real numbers. So let's adjust for the record what happened, what the numbers are with Foursquare, because they finally opened up a little bit, haven't they?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I mean, I'd love to think that they saw our podcast and then all of a sudden said, "Hey, we better get some numbers out there. These guys are dissing us." But
they're spreading lies.
But anyhow, so we had talked about a number of about 200 million check-ins, 500 million users.
No, not 500 million.
Sorry, 5 million users. 500 million. We'd be talking about Facebook. But anyhow, 200 million check-ins, 5 million users is what we had talked about last week. The actual numbers officially from Facebook published last week are 381 million check-ins, 6 million users. Now, and they're also saying that the growth, over the year was 3,400%.
3,400%.
And so, the 200 million to 381, is somewhat justified in there in the sense that, if they are growing at, 25, 35, thousand users per day, which is what, we're hearing about, then yeah, I can see those numbers happening very quickly in, even month over month.
It's what's interesting to me is that still, when you look at the overall picture of the number of people that are using these, even the number of registered users at 6 million people, we're not talking a lot. We're not talking about a lot of people at this point. 6 million, I'd take 6 million viewers, obviously.
Sure.
I'd take 10,000 viewers. But 6 million users in the grand scheme of things, when you put it up to, next to Zuck's company, you've really got nothing. Small market.
It is a small market, but at the end of the day, I think what would be an interesting thing to see would be, if we were to line up all the location-based platforms, so take 6 million users from Foursquare, and let's say 8 million users from Where, and 4 or 5 million users from Gowalla, or however many there are, and line them all up. How much overlap is there in that user base? How many have multiple services that they're running? And if they're not, what is the total? Because if the total is, somewhere in the neighborhood of, 30 million or 40 million, then it's a reasonable number to say, against, say, Pew's research or something like that says, there's 4% or 8% of the U.S. population using it. Because I think that's a bit low. I think that's not quite accurate. And if you just look at download numbers across these apps, they're pretty significant.
Well, they are. And, I think that as people become more and more, as they reach a little bit more and more into mainstream, I think that that's going to obviously accelerate. And we've heard so many times, and we've talked about it so many times, that Foursquare seems to be on that clip, enjoying the same kind of clip at the beginning that Twitter did. And we all know that Twitter is cresting 200 billion users at this point. I don't think that Foursquare is that big, but certainly the growth, 3,400% year over year. It's good, but it's also a misnomer because I could do 1,000% growth going from 0 to 10 or 1 to 10 users, right? So, but it's still, it just shows that this might be the beginning of that mainstreaming of Foursquare or the equivalent technologies. It has to be reaching a point now because Microsoft is now talking about it. Right now, Microsoft is kind of looking at this industry now and saying, well, we have to start being a thought leader at least on this check-in location and privacy issue. They put out a
you and we've kind of said a couple times now over the last number of weeks, where are these big other companies like IBM and Microsoft? These guys have been missing in the discussion, and so finally Microsoft found out. How much of that is because they're about to release the new version of their Internet Explorer, and there's location based information within that. How much of it is just natural that they want to participate in the discussion? I don't know. But what they did announce is a discussion about people should be concerned about privacy, and they did
ring the alarms.
Yeah, 1,500 people, U.S., U.K., Canada, Japan, and Germany. And out of that, some of the key findings were they said 84% of respondents are concerned about sharing their location data without their consent. Okay. 84% are also concerned about identity theft or theft of that data. And 83% are concerned about loss of privacy. So those were kind of some of the top line things.
Who did they interview? Were they, like 65 and above year olds who have never used this service? Or did they didn't quantify the data very well, did they? They said 1,500 people.
Yeah, no, they said 1,500 people. They didn't go into too much detail about any kind of demographic breakdown. There was, kind of the general usual notion you see with anything that says, younger respondents, and those who spend more per month of their phone services, are more familiar with these services and things like that. Some very general statements. I didn't see anything specific in terms of age breakdown or gender breakdown or anything like that. Just the usual. Males are more likely to use this. Younger males are more likely to use this. The stuff that we see over and over again.
Just out of curiosity, though, before we go further down this road, is that what an odd combination. What an odd combination of countries, the UK, Canada, Japan, and Germany, and the US. Like, I can maybe understand UK, Canada, even maybe not even Canada, but the UK and maybe the United States. But why Japan and Germany? Is it just to kind of get a global breadth, like an understanding of what's going on?
Well, I think a lot of this has to do with the releasing the next version of this browser, right? And those are probably the kind of the most significant markets for them at the moment, and so they wanted to kind of poll against those markets and kind of see what the response is. And so relative to that browser, what they have said is users of the latest Internet Explorer will have the option of disabling location information or the broadcast of that information from within the browser. And by the way, they're not the first to say that. So Firefox is it also does that. So you have this option now. And quite frankly, I'm not sure whether that matters or not, because how many people actually know that these browsers are collecting location information?
Well, the other thing is that to do a survey like this in anticipation of something like location-aware browsers, it just seems like it's apples and oranges because maybe they're trying to figure out if they should enable it by default or not, but the fact that people are using a mobile device to check in on a location is so different than browsing. I don't like, and I think the biggest reason is because most people browse from either an office or at home, and I'm not really interested in sharing my place of where I live. I don't care about my office so much, but and it's interesting. Like I read the blog posting from the guy who published this piece for Microsoft, and they had a series of recommendations, from their point of view, and the recommendations were: don't check in on location-based social networking sites from home. Don't include GPS coordinates in your tweets, your blogs, or your social networking accounts. Period. And I'm like, why? Like, is it because Microsoft doesn't own Twitter or any significant blogging or social networking or like, why would you say that? And yet in the same breath, then you say 51% of people out there in their study have used location-based services. Yeah.
Right. And 94% of those people think they're valuable.
Yeah, but then what strikes me is that number, right? Is that they're worried about identity theft and all this kind of stuff, where it's just slightly ridiculous that they try to jam all of this into one thing and make recommendations like that. It just doesn't. It's not cohesive. I think it's Microsoft just trying to play in this space and not doing a good enough job.
Yeah. No. I mean, I do think Microsoft has a legitimate area to play in here, and that is, when it comes to Bing, and local search in general, and this holds true for Google as well. I think, we should be concerned, and businesses should be looking at, how location ties into local search. I mean, I don't know, the last numbers I saw from Google were, somewhere in the neighborhood of 38% of all searches, period, on Google are local in intent. And all of those, and all search results these days are all geotagged and mapped. Absolutely. And so that's important. That's the area, in my view, where Microsoft needs to be focused on, making sure that Bing and all of that is fitting into that world. And obviously from their advertising side, they need to be thinking about, geo, tagging and proposing those ads.
So we're back here. If you're watching this, you might have noticed that in fact it's now dark behind Asif. It's a little bit darker where I am as well. I think I've got a little bit of gray hair as well, and the whole reason is because as we were filming the last segment about 4 or 5 hours ago, my bathroom, which is behind me in the office, blew up, and we had to take a little hiatus. So I'm not going to show you pictures, but just recognize that there's a little bit of construction going around here, and we've actually got a plumber here who's fixing things as I speak. So we're going to get through this very quickly. When we last left off, we were talking about we were about to jump into location-based, B2B and location-based with what Salesforce and LinkedIn are doing, and what's going on with these guys. Are they actually finding the reason to use location these days, or are they just jumping on the bandwagon?
I think, for me, we should pick this up from the conversation with Rumble last week, and in general, what we talk about with Rumble is this kind of starting of the splitting of the services and specializations of the various check-in tools into different areas. And Rumble's basically said, look, we're out of check-in, or at least as a consumer play, we're going to focus on trust engine and recommendations, and we're going to do that in a B2B context. We're going to license our technology and the APIs to others. And so, kind of did some investigating this week on that. What I'm seeing is guys like Salesforce.com and LinkedIn, guys who are extremely focused on the business market, are trying to figure out how is location relevant to them. And so in the case of Salesforce, what you're seeing is third-party developers through their App Exchange and through others are starting to build tools now that leverage location, and very simple things like within Salesforce, where you've got all your businesses and all your contacts and for all your prospects and everybody else that you're tracking. The fact is now all those things can be geotagged. They can be mapped. When somebody visits, you at one particular location, you can track that versus, what other office they went to and all that kind of stuff. Frequency of visits and so on. So I think there's something there. I don't know how that's going to turn into money yet, but definitely there's something there in the case of Salesforce.
Well, I've seen some good uses of that, but more on the LinkedIn side, because I've seen a lot of guys using LinkedIn for things like if I'm going to be in a city, I use TripIt, right, which is a plugin,
right?
And the TripIt plugin basically allows me to get what find out who's going to be in the city, or who my contacts are going to be in the city. They've used it as a third-party plugin tool to enable this kind of stuff. I haven't really seen it from Salesforce, so I'm eager to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, and so I think LinkedIn, lends itself a little easier to using location services, and the TripIt thing's interesting. I think a couple of the other areas that we've seen. So I just found out that there's something called LinkedIn Labs this week, which I guess is sort of like Google, where they let employees, spend some free time or give them some time to actually go and work on building things. And one of the things I played with was this visualization where it takes all my LinkedIn contacts and basically creates a nice little graphic of geographically how they're all dispersed all over the globe, yep. Which is kind of neat. And I tweeted that out, and you can do that right from the tool. But more interesting than that for me is take that TripIt thing a bit further. how nice would it be if, you showed up at some conference or some business event, some networking event, and, you're checked in via LinkedIn, if you will, and then you're able to automatically pull up profiles of other people who are checked in there as well. And then, it kind of speeds up your networking process. You've kind of done your due diligence a little bit, in an event where you don't necessarily know people. So that's kind of one idea. And, I mean, take that a step further, interesting, I'm an iPhone guy, I use Bump, periodically to kind of pass contact information. Why can't I bump my LinkedIn contact, to another guy or gal from a LinkedIn, so there's basic things like that I think, LinkedIn needs to be doing, in a location scenario.
Yeah, it's funny because even when you think about what can happen with this is that you've got all these competing technologies like Bump, which uses obviously location and motion and all that kind of stuff into the cloud. But then you've also got Bluetooth, connectivity or near field communication, or in BlackBerry's case, they've got things like QR codes that are built right in to the device, so all your information is transferred. And then you've got things like QR codes on business cards. So it's kind of like, I think everybody's trying to figure out what the right way to do this is, and I think LinkedIn could be poised here if they just get that whole location service nailed, right?
Right.
Okay. So is it just a comment on this? Is that like they're starting to wake up into this industry, or they're still trying to figure it out?
Just generally, I think that's the next wave, right? Is now you've got these these B2B guys who have done very well to build big user bases.
Yep. And
it's just a logical extension for them to kind of figure out how they use location and geotagged information, right? So, yeah, I don't see them. This isn't jumping on the bandwagon. This is, how do we further extend our platform? Make it even stickier than it already is.
This is figuring it out. I follow a guy, Leo Laporte, obviously very very closely, and he says, I'm on LinkedIn. I don't get it, right? And some people get it, or some people don't. I use LinkedIn pretty much every day, but I think that there's got to be that hook for a lot of people still. They have a lot of users. They're going public. They file for an IPO. But, some people get it or they don't. And it's, as he says, it's usually people looking for jobs that are using it very effectively or trying to use it effectively. And what's the hook for other people to get involved? And maybe location is it, if it just adds that one little piece as he travels. So here's hoping. I love LinkedIn. And I'm an avid Salesforce user.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I hope they do something in that area.
So, obviously transitioning from there, from B2B into, Facebook and some pretty nifty news that is coming out this week, and maybe even for the UK, but maybe for Canadians, you're saying.
Yeah, so there's kind of rumors flying all over the internet right now, and a little bit more than rumors. I guess the journalists, the press, have been summoned to a meeting on Monday morning in the UK. Which all speculation points to they're going to be announcing Facebook deals in the UK.
Yep.
And from the research I've been able to do, it looks like they may be announcing a partnership with Argos, which is one of the largest retailers, both online and in terms of physical retailer over there. So that would be fantastic if that happens.
Yep.
And then to kind of take that a step further, I or the LBMA have been invited to a similar event also on Monday morning here in Toronto with Facebook's PR firm. So, I'm speculating based on what I've read in the UK that perhaps they might be announcing deals in Canada as well. So remains to be seen. So
it makes sense. So we're all under the Commonwealth, right? So you got to launch.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think that, our population, despite the vast size of our country, the population is, we're half of the population of the UK, but I think that that would be interesting to see. So maybe sometime when you're listening to this on Monday morning, an announcement will have been made that places will actually be here in Canada and the UK, obviously.
Right.
So, on our weekly watch of Scavenger, which seems like Seth and his team are doing a great job. It seems every second show we do, we talk about Scavenger. Let's talk about this. Bringing a game layer to the food service industry. That's what Scavenger's done with BFG. What is this? It's another one of their
so
deals.
BFG is an agency of sorts that basically works with a number of food services companies, and apparently did an audit of a number of location platforms and decided that Scavenger was the one. And so they've done a partnership deal between Scavenger and Buffalo Wild Wings. And kind of rolled out this, typical Scavenger gaming experience. Win prizes based on challenges, redeemable on site at a Buffalo Wild Wings. But it's interesting because up until now, a lot of the discussion with Scavenger has been, around stuff they've done with the NFL or with the Patriots and, sports and other things. And, this is, now they're kind of moving into Foursquare territory a little bit. In terms of food services, so
yeah, like
we'll see how that plays out.
You spoke. I guess the premise is that you download Scavenger. They've set up in all of their locations games or hunts or something to do. So you do whatever it is that Scavenger game is, and then you redeem it for prizes or discounts or coupons or whatever it is. Yeah,
and I think the interesting angle about this too is, especially with that type of a venue, like a pubby type of atmosphere, or a wing place. Where it's kind of sports bar-ish, you got TVs all over the place and whatnot. I understand that you're also like kind of ranking against other people, friends and so on that are, also, at the same location. And so maybe that has a bit of that element of crank, which we talked about the other week in terms of trivia and competing, on a location specific game. Maybe we're starting to see, them pulling some of that into this as well.
Well, I mean, good on them because, it just seems like every time that there's obviously a lot of momentum, and I think a big investment that they got out of it will certainly help propel that company a little bit more. This is basically adding like $15 million is really propellant, isn't it? And that's what we're seeing.
It's all about the fuel.
It is.
And so, while Scavenger's been busy there, another company that we haven't talked about too much, also in the food services space, is Place Punch.
Yeah.
And these guys are, they're based in Atlanta. Actually, Adam Steenberg is their CEO. Great guy, doing fantastic work. And what I like about them is, they've been at it for a little while. They're one of these guys that they don't care whether you use Foursquare or Gowalla or Looped or whatever. They kind of suck it all in together, so you can check in on whatever service you like. But then from the business point of view, so they've done a deal with Food Lion. And so if you're Food Lion, what happens is as these people are coming in and checking into your stores, you're able to respond to them in real time via Twitter.
Nice.
Okay. And so everything's pushed back from the brand's point of view via Twitter. And so you have this kind of real quick engagement, that Twitter gives you with that kind of, 140 character status. So I love it. I think it's a great little tool, and the fact that they can suck in multiple inputs.
So I mean, if you have your Foursquare check-ins going to Twitter, they'll be able to respond to you in real time.
That's right.
That's really what it is. It's about engagement when you're in the store. That's where the real value is. You don't wait until they're at home.
Yeah, and they're also providing pretty nice analytics and reports on that as well. So I think the combination of that kind of real time response, the analytics that you can get from it, I think Place Punch is doing some great work there.
Well, it's great. Well, we'll keep our eyes on that. I mean, Scavenger, it's a weekly announcement. So, but Place Punch and Food Line. What was that company that it just got $3 million? That you take pictures of your food. Do you know these guys?
You take pictures of your food? No.
You do. You take pictures of your food, and it's like I'm just going to do a quick as we do this. We'll see how well the internets do. Food pictures. Food photo. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find it, but there's a company that actually takes photos. It's an app that you take photos with, and it escapes me right now. And basically, it's an iPhone app. They just got $3 million to expand on what they're doing, which is insane, if you ask me. But I mean, it'll come up to me in a minute. So now let's talk.
Is it Food Spotting? It's not that one, is it?
It is Food Spotting. You're right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, $3 million, like, you know, and that's a pretty crazy thing to be able to fathom, is that a company get $3 million for people taking food pictures. But as I listened to the CEO talk, she was very adamant about the fact that everybody has these different life experiences and food experiences, and you know, she sounded like she knew what she was talking about, and obviously she did, to get $3 million out of some pretty premier VCs. Anyway, you know, I think that as everybody's trying to do all these things like Scavenger and BFG and Place Punch and Food Lion, you know, everybody kind of there's soup that's happening, and nobody knows the way it's going to play out, but it's everybody. There's a lot of people in there. Anyway.
Oh yeah, no, there's tons of activity and lots of players and constantly new entrants, right? So everybody's trying to, you know, skin the cat a different way, but, you know, there's, you know, again, there's still not a lot of innovation. So
no, there isn't. Well, taking pictures of your food, I suppose.
Sure.
All right, so our product of the week.
Product of the week. Yeah, product of the week is called Gold Run. Yes. And I really like this because, you know, I'm one of those guys that thinks that augmented reality is not that far away, and Gold Run's, you know, kind of making it happen now. So what it is it's sort of like Scavenger in some respects, but with augmented reality. So you have this gaming element, you're trekking around, you're trying to find virtual goods in retail environments. And in some cases you might, you know, walk up to an H&M store and hold up your phone, and through the camera, which is how augmented reality works, you see, you know, an item sitting in the store window which isn't really there, and you're collecting up these virtual goods. That's kind of one way it's done. Another, in some scenarios, you actually see entire buildings or stores that are virtual. I know, for example, Gold Run's doing some stuff with the Sundance Festival right now, in that kind of you know, kind of genre as well. So interesting stuff. I think it's neat because it actually allows brands and retailers to engage with something that's kind of fun. You know, augmented reality is cool. People do want to play with it, and the smartphones are letting it happen. So
it's pretty unique. And you know, I've seen some of these things on eBay. I know eBay has an app out there that allows you to try on virtually through augmented reality. Right. The stuff that you might buy, like shades or sunglasses or shirts or something like that. And it's good to see some of this actually being practical. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges with augmented reality is practical augmented reality. I have 1,000 ideas. We're just not ready for them yet, I think. So Gold Run, goldrungo.com. And
goldrungo.com.
Yeah, we'll have a link. And there's a great demo in there. It's only iPhone right now, but
that's right.
We'll see if we can get in touch with them to see when they're going to come out with any other platforms at this point. But they've got great partners. Far East Movement, H&M, Style.com, NYC.
Yeah, they've done some stuff with Airwalk, Converse. I know they've done some stuff with the NBC Today Show. Yeah. So yeah, they're doing well.
That's good. Gold Run Go, our product of the week. And so this is so our resource is obviously related to what you're doing this week, because you're flying off to where? Texas?
Yeah, I'm heading off to you know, Texas, and land of the cowboy boots. So you know, I don't think I'm bringing my boots with me right now because I can't quite get into it. It's you know, it's January, but hey,
it's warm in Texas.
Yeah, it's Texas, right? So
home of Gowalla, by the way. You can go and see how Gowala's doing. You know, like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Drop in on Gowalla, drop in on Crank for that matter, that we talked about last week. So, anyhow,
you know what? You know who else is down there? I think our good friends Worley from Chaotic Moon is down there in Texas as well. It's a hub of mobile activity, which is obviously why you're going down there for marketing profs and a little speaking gig.
Our good friend Aaron Strout's down there too from Powered. So lots going on in Austin. But anyways, I'm going down there for Marketing Profs Digital Marketing Forum event, which is Wednesday through Friday this week. And marketing, I just want to talk Marketing Profs for 1 second. I mean, these guys, you know, if you are in marketing, not just location-based marketing, if you are in social media, online marketing, digital marketing, any kind of marketing that you can think of, you know, this is one of those resources you have to, you know, check out and kind of get involved with. They've got 382,000 members that are signed up to their service. That's how good it is. So, you're looking for blog posts, you're looking for research, you're looking for, events, online seminars. These guys are bringing it to you. That's awesome. And and as far as the conference is concerned, yeah. So I'm down there, on a location panel. But if you can't make it to the physical conference, you can watch the live stream, and you can sign up for that at marketingprofs.com. It's $199, so it's a bit of a deal. And I'll even make it a little bit better of a deal. The LBMA has a discount code for you. So if you want to watch that stream live, you can save $25. Just go and register and enter in LBMA25. There you go.
So that's marketingprofs.com/events/30/conference. We're going to have a link up there, obviously, onto our website when this goes live. But when are you speaking?
I'm speaking on Friday at 11, I believe it is.
And what are you speaking on?
It's a location panel, so we're basically just talking about case studies and how location-based services are kind of rolling out. So it's myself, actually Place Punch, Michael Brito from Edelman, and Fuba. Nice. Fuba is on there as well. So yeah, it should be a fun little panel.
All right. So, but if you can't go, you can go to just go to Marketing Profs. You'll see it because it's the Digital Marketing Forum, and you can register online. You can actually watch it live online or archived. It's $199, but with the discount code from the LBMA, it's even cheaper.
There you go.
Number 10 done. Thanks, Asif. We'll see you next week.